Hey, welcome back to my channel. Just jamming out for a quick second. I wanted to have just like a quick, like, what's up with that review. I haven't had one of these in a while. I have previously reviewed a Dyson vacuum and I think one other thing. I only do these so often when I find things, appliances or whatever that really pique my interest. And in this case, you know, I do sew a lot and all this stuff, and you know, laundry also does play a big part with that, because you know, you have to pre-wash fabrics to pre-shrink them, you know, lose any excess dyes that might rub off, because you know, a lot of things like that can happen. So I wanted to give some tips on laundry. Plus I wanted to do a quick review on these Carbona color grabbing, they're called dye grabbing sheets. What is that, you may ask? Well, have you ever washed, like, you know, sometimes you'll have like a white shirt, but it's not plain white, like it'll have color graphics on it, or there's, you know, some type of screen print and colors, and it's kind of like, well, do I throw this in the whites where it might fade the graphic when I put bleach in it, or do I put it with my regular colors? But then, you know, if you've ever done laundry and you've thrown in reds with whites and you just do it without, you know, any regard, sometimes you'll find that your whites will turn pink, because reds are notoriously just like bleeding type colors. Also, like, your blues can also bleed, but number one, it's usually the reds, because that's just like the highest bleeding type color. I'm not really sure why. I'm sure there's a science behind it, but I do have some examples here, which is why, you know, my husband may do his laundry, but I really wish he would let me, because sometimes children and husbands ruin clothes. Exhibit A, you may not be able to tell, but this was a white Gojira band shirt. I don't know what my husband did. He must have washed it with something red, because now this looks much better, because, well, prior to that, when he ruined it, he's like, would you like this shirt? And I was like, great, thanks for giving me a ruined Gojira shirt. But anyways, it still has kind of a lavendery, highlighty red tinge to it. But it was much worse before. It was like almost a highlighter, like purple, very pastel purpley color that it dyed it to. So I was walking through the laundry aisle one day, and I do like to kind of like look at the products to see, you know, because sometimes there are specialty other products from Carbona that there's special gels just for blood and urine and stuff like that, and there's also specialty laundry gels for grass and other type of plant-based stains. Like, it gets really specific, and I find that very interesting, because obviously, you know, I make clothes, and I like my store-bought clothes to look as vibrant and in good a shape as long as possible. So what these are is that you'll take, when you do the laundry, and let's say you do have some mixed whites that you really don't want to put with the actual white thing, because you might fade the graphics on that. You'll take one of these, one or two, depending on how many. I would say if you have quite a bit of reds in that pile of laundry that you're planning on doing, I would put 2 sheets in it. And what happens is that whenever you wash, a lot of times the colors aren't like set properly when you buy clothes from, and you may have also noticed this in your lifetime, you know, if you put 2 pieces of clothing together and one's a different color, the darker one might rub off on the lighter one, and then it's kind of ruined. So those things are not set properly, and sometimes it'll even tell you on the inside tag, like, you know, colors may bleed, wash with light colors, don't use detergent. Like, these are all just things that are saying, hey, this sucker might bleed on your other clothes. So once you throw that in the wash, you'll throw these things in there. Oh, well, this is the example. You know, you'll run your laundry, then whatever was loose, it'll come out. Like, I've been doing these on, like, in my dark dark ones, especially like I said with stuff like this. So I threw one. Now this one's for colors. There's also another Carbona color grabber that's specifically for whites. More for what I'm talking about here, but I did use these with the regular color grabbing ones. So as you can see, it absorbed color because this is brand new. This is once it's already gone through the wash, and it, you know, it just prevents bleeding colors that are floating around in the wash to transferring to other colors that will change it or just dye it in, you know, general, like my Gojira shirt over here. But I did wash this again with my whites. The graphic hasn't really been too affected, and even if it does, it kind of looks cool in this case, in my opinion. So when I threw it in with this, it did, this is not the one from the Gojira shirt, but it did improve it quite a bit. So now it does look more white than it did prior to the laundry accident. But I really like these, and you know, like in the back it tells you, you know, it is more red based, because red, like I said, red is a huge, it's a huge freaking problem, and you know it. You've probably had stuff dyed red before. So I highly recommend these with your wash. Another thing that I do, just some laundry tips, I have some like graphic shirts that I really like the graphics on them, and a lot of these hot, like these, they're not hard, but they're kind of like, they're not soft screen prints on these band shirts. You know, you definitely don't want them to start cracking and fading, because, you know, that doesn't look good. So what I do is I will delicate wash those shirts, and I always turn my graphic ones inside out, and that just kind of protects it a little more, so that way if there's any friction while it's in wash, it doesn't, like, you know, like scrape off or crack that. It protects that graphic, right? So I'll do that. And then also with my delicates, I won't necessarily put them in the dryer on the delicate cycle. I'll just hang dry them. Also, if you didn't know, if you hang dry stuff outside, UV rays can also lighten or distort colors and things like that. So be careful with that if you do. But I always hang my stuff like in my garage. I have like some hangers here that I put my laundry in. And so far so good. I mean, I've had some shirts for a while now, and the graphic is still intact. So, you know, it just, the laundry, there is care. I mean, if you don't really care much about your clothes, that's fine. I mean, getting them clean is the end goal, right? But if you want to keep them looking a little more vibrant and everything, then I do highly recommend trying out these Carbona color grabbing sheets. I don't think they're the only brand that makes these type of color grabbing sheets. I believe Shout also makes them too. But that's just one thing I wanted to talk about on today's video. Highly recommend that. So if you got a bleeding problem with your laundry, give those a try. All is good there. Just a quick video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and happy October. It's the 1st of October, everybody. All right, thanks. Bye.